Hello, welcome to this video. I'm going to share with you all today some of my favorite sensory and fidget toys. I have a ton, I think, in my office, in my playrooms, but there are some that certainly become what I would say favorites of kids that I work with. They gravitate toward these sensory and fidget toys a lot. They're also ones that I like myself, but I think the best indicator of sort of like a successful one in the playroom or the office are the ones that get used a lot by the kids. The kids come in and it's something that really speaks to them and that they really seek out and really enjoy and find helpful or beneficial to them from a sensory seeking standpoint, from a fidget standpoint, just a regulation standpoint in general. So the first thing I want to show you are these feeling sensory bottles. These are a more recent addition to my office. I actually picked these up over maybe a couple of weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago, and put them into my office. Instant success. Kids came in, even adults, and really gravitated toward these bottles and wanted to use them. They're kind of just a variation on sort of the sensory bottles that have been around for a long time that you can make yourself, but these do have feeling faces on them. And then if you shake them up like a nice visual sensory bottle, they have different substances inside of them that will move around and shake up. This one is glitter, and it looks like some kind of little shiny sequence or bead is in there as well. And of course, it's got the smiley face on it. This one, my favorite one, is green, and inside is sort of like maybe like metallic glue. Maybe it makes a really cool looking cloudy shape inside when you shake it. And the face is, I don't know, maybe worried, scared, sort of looking like face, sort of a traditionally drawn worried or scared or nervous face. But I love the way this one looks, kind of like my favorite one to shake up. And then we've got, of course, a sort of grumpy or angry or upset face. This is sort of like a little red, I don't know what's in there, little red pieces, and it doesn't really like hold as long as the others, but you definitely get the idea of the water turning all red when it is shaken up. And then the last one, there's 4 in the set. Typically, the set that I bought, which is produced by Hand to Mind, and I will put that here on the screen. Hand to Mind Feelings Sensory Bottles. This one looks like maybe a sad face, and this has more of a sort of goopy, slow material in it. So it goes from top to bottom much more slowly. So I really like what they did with this. Simple concept, but very appealing, I think, to kids when they come in and see it. And I think the feeling faces actually add a nice element of, at least for me, being able to actually kind of get into quite a few conversations about different feelings that the child may have been experiencing. So again, feeling sensory bottles, Hand to Mind, recent addition, but I can tell it's going to be a good one because kids and even some adults really like to grab them and play with them when they come into the office. Next thing is something that I discovered a few years ago. Actually, a fellow play therapist friend of mine, Carrie Hamilton in the Pacific Northwest, introduced this to me. It's, I believe, called a guy ring, and it's very simple. It's all these rings together, and they can be moved around with your fingers and manipulated. In the center is a ball that can also be moved around. So it kind of looks like this, or of course, you can start manipulating the rings, switching them around, and you just keep playing with it in this fashion. What's really interesting to me about this is I really liked it because I personally like sort of fidget sensory tools like this. But I really thought probably won't wind up being one of my more popular sensory fidget toys in the playroom. I was totally wrong. It's amazing to me because it seems so simple and sort of repetitive, but kids come in and grab this and will just hold it in their hands and keep it with them and play with it for several minutes at a time. It's been a popular addition in the playroom for sure. So one that I would add to my recommend list here. Gyring, Giring Fidget is the typical brand name or name, I believe. Obviously, it's possible probably to find all the things I'm going to highlight in some generic form. They get mass produced and maybe called something else. But that's the term I'm using in this video. And the last one I want to show you is one of my all-time favorites. Discovered these years ago. I mean, I loved them. I grab these things and play with them myself, even when there's no one in my office. And they have been such a hit that I have kept them restocked, even if one would get broke, and replaced in all of our playrooms. And I'm going to use the term pop tubes because that's what I see them called often when I'm searching for them. And they're these sort of accordion type tubes that you can pull and make sounds. I love these so much that I have them in every shape that I can find. So there's this super large one, kind of a medium one, then there's a little one, there's even a more mini one, and I have all of them because I just like manipulating these, and they've been really popular with the kids. So just a little demo here. We'll start with this little small one. So you just pull it apart, and you can hear that sound it makes. And then, of course, you can put it back together, and you can pull it apart again. If you have more than one, you can actually connect them, connect a single one, but you could connect multiples and make them into a more circular design. And what's really cool about these is when you do pull them out, you can typically spin them. This works better with the larger ones, and they'll make sort of a noise. The small one doesn't do it as much, but I'll try to show that on one of the larger ones here. I really like the putting them back together and the pulling them apart. There is something very satisfying about that to me. And also, it's kind of cool when you're working with kids to help them experiment with different ways of pulling them apart. Let's move up to the medium-sized ones. So sometimes we'll experiment and we'll go, let's go slow. Let's see if we can just do one pop at a time. And it takes a lot of restraint just to try to do one pop at a time until you get them all popped out. And then you may not be able to do it, and you may just have to do all of them because you can't handle it anymore. Such a cool toy. So many used ones. Let me see if this one will make the sound. I know the large one does pretty well. You can kind of hear that, I think, maybe. I could hear it here doing it. It makes sort of a whistling sound when you move it that way. These are so cool. I would definitely recommend them. You might not like them, but I think you're definitely going to have a lot of kids who do like them and will use them in all kinds of ways. And I bet all you creative play therapy people out there can think of all kinds of even structured play interventions that you could use these with. So those are three of the sensory fidget toys that I really like right now. This is a part 1 video, so look for part 2 because I am going to continue to highlight some of my favorite sensory and fidget toys and materials to have in your office or in your playroom. Thanks for watching this video. Please give it a like, and please subscribe to the AutPlay Therapy YouTube channel and come back and watch more videos. Take care.